Hello to you, my fellow printed weebs. You're very welcome to another episode of Community News from 3D Jake. All the news from the community and what's going on with us too. I'm joining you from the 3D Jake office in the center of Graz in southern Austria, a country where it is hitting 40 degrees this week, and it saddens me to say that this is actually kind of cool compared to other parts of Europe. Here's what's going on in 3D printing right now. As always, we start with what is coming to the shop, and we have Recycling Fabrik filament coming in a few days. Ooh. If you're unaware, Recycling Fabrik are a German company that accept your filament scraps and turn it into new recycled filament. So all the filament we have from them is 100% completely recycled from post-industrial waste or makers' failed prints. Cool. Currently, we're getting their RPLA and RPETG ranges. Their RPLA range varies in color and price, so you could get something like a surprise color at €18 for a kilo, or a Cremega Cafe at €22, or a premium essential green at €29. There are also glitter and shimmering variants. I'm getting some soon, looking forward to trying it out and checking out the quality and color selection too. We're also getting Fiberlogy's new ASA-AF. AF, not CF or GF. These are aramid fibers. Aramid is a class of fibers of which Kevlar is a member, and what is the difference between this and a carbon fiber ASA? Well, AF does not have the rigidity of carbon fiber. It is not made for that. Aramid is there for flexibility and wear resistance. Kinda similar to glass fiber, but a tad more of those qualities. It is also kinder to your nozzle, but you still probably should use a hardened steel nozzle for this. Yep. First up in community news is INDX's hardened nozzles that are not hardened. So Bondtech had marketed the nozzles as hardened, but they recently said on their Discord that the nozzles being shipped, which includes the Prusa INDX conversion kits, these are hardened to a hardness of 30 to 32 HRC, which is technically hardened, but it's still soft and not really suitable for abrasive filaments. For reference, when you get a hardened steel nozzle, they usually have a hardness of 55 to 60 plus HRC. It was noted that the issue was due to machining tools that Bondtech had, which were not capable of cutting the required hardness. But people are a bit irritated that this was only made public within the last 2 weeks. Bondtech have said that the founders would be compensated, and we're all hoping that hardened steel nozzles will be coming to INDX as soon as possible. In other INDX news, more INDX, the Toolhead CAD was accidentally uploaded, removed, and then reverse engineered and leaked, sort of. So Prusa released a printable desk ornament of the INDX Toolhead, but left the geometry pretty much intact. So Robert Samples, he reversed engineered it and filled in the gaps, and now there is an INDX Toolhead step design floating around on GitHub and MakerWorld, and Prusa licensed it as Creative Commons share alike, and that license can't really be revoked, so they're well within their rights to keep it up. If you want to have a look at the Reddit post and the GitHub, it is linked down below. Bambu released a bunch of new patent filings, with several being to do with dual nozzle printheads with coupling mechanisms and ooze prevention. Another patent had to do with the XY motion system showing inverted motors, another for a removable printhead with a temporary magnetic coupler and hall sensor, another 3 detailing a switching mechanism for exhaust and air recirculation and their associated systems. The X2D always seemed like more of a testing platform than a printer that was designed for a specific demographic, because it had like the Bowden extruder and hot end, and I'm using it now, and I mean it's useful, but it feels slightly unfinished. So swappable and compact dual nozzle systems seem like the appropriate way for Bambu to keep going, and I think there's a lot of potential in this design. But whether those patents will actually see the light of day in an actual product, who knows, because Bambu are pretty notorious for doing like lots of prototyping cycles. Last week, there was an article in AM Insight Asia about how consumer 3D printers have a crazy high churn rate, saying fewer than 3 in 10 entry-level buyers keep using their printer, more than 7 in 10 stop. That is not a statistic about market failure. It is a map pointing to a business nobody has claimed yet. 70% of buyers stop using their printer. Like, I knew this sector was pretty high in terms of churn rate compared to other consumer products, but 70%? So the main cause of this churn rate is out of the box use, basically. For those of you who have only got a printer in the last couple of years, oh God, you have it so good now. You have it so good. Like 8 years ago, even more recent, it was awful. Oh, glass beds. Ugh. But we still don't have a one-click use like a lot of other consumer products. So people get a printer expecting to use it like a microwave, and it doesn't work like that. So they just sling it on Facebook Marketplace or something like that. The second problem is customization. I think this is actually far more impactful. So you get a new printer and you've been using it for a couple of weeks. It's lovely. And you want to use it for modding certain things in your home. So you download something from Printables and it doesn't fit perfectly. Maybe you need to change one little feature, just move it 1 centimeter across. If you don't have CAD experience, you're cooked. And the learning curve for that can seem very, very intimidating for a lot of people. But AMIA argue that there is another reason for the churn rate, and they call this the idea barrier. So you buy a printer, it's lovely, it can print anything you can think of. The problem is the consumer doesn't know what to print. So a 3D printer isn't the same as any other consumer device, like a washing machine. A washing machine is there specifically to clean your clothes. A microwave is there specifically to heat your food. A 3D printer is exactly the opposite. It is there to print anything you can think of. Problem is, people don't like to think, or even looking for things to print. AMIA say, and I quote, "Model sharing platforms are closer to a parts bin than a used case shop, and instruction remains immature." AMIA argue that this is in fact a missed opportunity for companies. There is a commercial gap for centralized education, documentation, and direction. And they posit that, like the PC boom in the 90s as a home device, one could exploit the need that consumers have for guidance. But in my mind, the time required to learn and use CAD still seems like an overwhelming barrier. The last thing I want to talk about is Orca Slicer Image Map. This is a fork for Orca Slicer that uses overhang modulation to speed up multicolor printing like crazy amount. Basically what happens here is that each layer is printed with one color, but for some layers there is an XY offset applied, so it creates a little overhang, blocking underlying layers from being seen. Doing this with a CMYK or a similar mix, you can hide and show whichever layers you want and give a full color look, even though there is only one color per layer. People in the community never cease to amaze me with these techniques. It's nuts, but this is actually based on an academic paper from 2018 when multicolor printers were not really a thing. The fork in question has 2 new toolbars. On top, there's an RGB color painting and image projection. With these, you take the color data from a 3MF, and that augments the model to include the offsets with each color per layer. What is cool though is you can use this with full spectrum. So if you don't have a color, then you can just dither it in. I'm very much looking forward to trying this. It's definitely on my list, but right now I'm stacking turtles. Okay, that about does it for this month. As always, links to all the stories and products are listed down below. Let us know what you think in the comments as well. And if you didn't know, we have a Discord server where there is printer talk on a daily basis. We'll be back with another video next week. So until then, later.